All right, let's try that again.
I thought he was kidding. Hi, everybody.
Blog Talk is doing some weird things tonight.
We're having some ETDs.
There's like a delay. There's a delay or something. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, hold. Alf, can you hear us? It's just real weird how it's acting.
I'm trying to add Kando as well to our call.
Yeah, go ahead. He seems to be online, but he's not live with us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on. And it showed Alf's number twice, which is bizarre. Come on, Blog Talk. Hello.
Just me. You are the fastest typist in the West, or East.
I'm going to add him on Skype.
Okay.
If he'll pick up.
What's up?
Blog Talk is just acting weird. I mean, it still shows your it showed 2 of your numbers up, but I couldn't hear you. And we heard the initial part.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you there?
Yeah, hang on. Hang on a second.
There's his son calling. Okay. We got a weird night. First time we haven't had Kando ready either.
I know.
Hello.
It said Candace is busy.
It's not a good omen whatsoever, people. I'm about ready to rip all your stinking heads off. Where's Kendo?
You have reached the maximum message recording time. If you are satisfied with your message, press 1. To review your message, press 2. To erase and re-record, press 3.
That's coming from Blog Talk, it sounds like.
Please select your option now. If you are satisfied with your message, press 1. To review your message, press 2. To erase and re-record, press 3.
No, we were still on the trailer park voicemail.
Oh, okay.
Jeez, you gotta be kidding me. Okay, do you want to try the landline again? Or no? Oh, he hung up. Okay. Let's try him again. Maybe he's just not going to do a show.
I thought you were calling me on my headphones.
Well, you hung up on the other one, so let's start. Let's try this again.
No, call me on the headphones.
You want to do that?
I guess I'm ready to go.
Okay. Yeah, Blog Talk is delayed. I mean, it never showed. Now, this time it didn't show his number coming up. It's bizarre. It doesn't normally do that. Still no Kando either.
Yeah, I've had computer problems all day, and internet slowdowns and stuff. And since I work remotely, that's like my lifeblood.
Right.
Yeah, it's been really weird.
What's your lifeblood?
Oh, hush.
Okay.
Now
that we blew my music and blew everything else, oh my God, this is hard enough to do. Okay. Who's all here?
Just me and Andrea at the moment. Kando's online, but I can't get a response out of him. Not sure what happened there.
I saw his picture for a second.
Yeah, it says it's busy. The Skype connection, there's something going on.
I texted him and we tried to call him, but neither has really done anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's weird.
Okay,
Blog Talk's delayed. Like it won't show.
My total presence is blown. Everything went in the trash can. Andrea, why don't you find and read the prayer of St. Francis for me? Maybe we can put me back in the spot I needed to be in.
Sure.
Do that. I'm going to take off my headphones for a second and try and focus.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I should know this. I have it in my notebook. Hold on.
We can pull it online.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it online.
It's pretty quick to get on the site, on our site, if you want to read that one. Because there's a button right at the top.
Oh, yeah.
And
there we go.
Do we have any new listeners? This is not normally how it goes.
I know. Please forgive us.
This is very odd. I mean, sometimes we get weird stuff.
All right. You guys ready? Here is the prayer of St. Francis.
Alvin?
Alvin? Or demon?
Tiny seed.
Pick one. Tiny seed. Okay. Lord, make me the instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in the giving that we receive, it is in the forgiving that we are forgiven, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
I am the soul. I am the light divine. I am love. I am will. I am fixed design. I bring the Christ into my heart. I bring the Holy Spirit into my body. I now don the light body, armed with the sword of light, sword of truth, of Lord Michael. I am a warrior of the light. Holy Father, give me the strength to overcome, the vision to see, and the clarity to understand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, and all my 30 pages of notes just fell on the floor. Oh, this is going to be fun, fun, fun. Okay, let's recap a couple of things, okay? And going back to the last show we did, even though it was 2 weeks ago, okay, what we learned and what I showed you, okay, is that the most important thing you have to understand is that you evolved yourself, okay? You're the spirit and you are the matter, okay? And as you bring spirit to matter or light to darkness, you raise the level of that matter. It becomes lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. This is what you do, okay? I saw something interesting the other day that Peter Shelton put on Facebook. It was a quote from Charles Darwin, okay? And I explained to all of you that basically Darwin was correct, okay? And, you know, a lot of people say, oh, well, Darwin was eventually proved wrong. Well, no, not really, okay? What he said was correct, except we did the involvement, okay? You evolve yourself, okay? There aren't no ancient aliens that did it, okay? There are no Anunnaki that did it, even though a lot of you read and hear all this stuff. It's impossible. The only thing that evolves you is you. You, the spirit, evolve you, the matter, or you, the body, okay? This is how it works. And you do this incarnation after incarnation after incarnation after incarnation. And this is some of what we're going to talk about in this part, okay? Now, the thing about Charles Darwin that it said, and a little quote, and I even saved it that Peter put up there, said, it's not the strongest that survived, okay? It's not the greatest or the fastest that survived. It's the one that was most adaptable to change, okay? And I said, how beautiful. I've never seen that. That's exactly what it is, okay? We had to change and had to adapt, okay? And this is so true. Of course, a bunch of people put it up there and said, oh, Darwin was wrong. I said, no, he's exactly right. You evolve or adapt or change yourself, okay? Does that make sense to you, Allfaaraa?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Well, it has to because that's how it is.
Right.
Okay. This is going to be very difficult, people, because to do this second part, okay, I almost had to tie a lot of it to the Bible because of the timeline. The Bible gives you the timeline. It gives you the whole story. I know a lot of people don't like the Bible. Oh, well, I've got two words for you. They're not thank you, okay? But that was supposed to have been funny if you understood it. Whoosh! Okay? I had to do it this way, okay? And I've got like 30 pages of notes here. I don't know how we're going to get it all into the show, okay? But what you have to understand, okay, is how everything worked. If I leave out step 1, step 3 doesn't make sense. It was a long process. I mean, last show we covered 4 billion years, more or less, in 2 hours, okay? But now is when all the good stuff happens, when the Creator takes part in this firsthand, okay? So you understand that basically we were all spirits at the time, or gods, okay? And what is a God, Shawn? How would you explain a God? Now, we're talking about God the Creator. We're not talking about God as Michael. We're talking about God's incarnate. What is a God?
An entity that can fragment itself into a body, a flesh body.
Well, any form, actually. It's
any form, sure.
Be it a rock, be it a cow, be it a flesh body, right? Gods are spirits, angels, Elohim, creator gods, whatever you want to call them, it's all the same thing, okay? Right? Had the ability to fragment themselves into form, okay? And we used our firstborns, okay? This is the first sign of the Father's strength and the closest genetically to what you were, okay? So the key, okay, were placing as many fragments of yourself into forms, okay? We finally learned, as I explained, that more wives meant more firstborns, meant you would become larger. Every time you put yourself into a form, okay, there was another of you. If you were in 10 forms, there were 10 pieces of you. If you were in 50 forms, how many pieces of you would there be, Shawn?
50.
Okay. As above, so below. The more fragments you had in flesh, the bigger you became above also, okay? Anyways, the last thing we talked about were the Nephilim, okay? And Nephil means tyrant. Nephilim does not mean giants. It contains the Hebrew root verb nun fe lamed, which means nafal, which means the fallen. So the Nephilim were actually the fallen, okay? And what happened, just like anything else, just like in a business today, the larger gods basically bought out the smaller gods, okay? This is how it works. Big corporations buy up smaller corporations and smaller business. It happens all the time, okay? Usually they keep some of the employees, okay, right? So the Nephilim would buy your wealth from you, okay, in exchange for theirs. You get lesser, but you get a higher quality of spiritual material, okay? Does that work for you? Do you understand that, Allfaaraa?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This actually is the first form of entrustment, okay? Can you see the combination? This is the same thing when later on, 7,000, 8,000 years later, actually in this case, because we had the cleansing, it's a lot longer than that. But this is the same system that Christ used when he went to the 144,000 firstborn angels of Israel and asked them, believe in me and I'll give you eternal life. No, entrust to me and I'll give you the Holy Spirit, okay? In other words, you give them all of yours to get this one little tiny piece or fragment, okay? It's the same thing, okay? Now, we had a new earth, okay? Remember, the Creator separated the waters from the waters, okay? And what is water the metaphor for, Shawn?
Spirit.
Okay. So he separated the waters above from the waters below. That's the first thing he did, okay? The spirit above, that was all of us, all the gods, all the Nephilim, and everything in Lucifer, from everything above the heavenly. And he put a firmament, rakia in Hebrew, or wall, around the earth, okay? So he separated the waters from the waters, okay? Now, okay, we had a new earth, a new heaven, and a new plan, okay? But first, you know, I didn't mention it last time, and nobody questioned me about it, okay? Anybody that wants to answer, even those in the chat room, how did the Nephilim and all of us gods survive the cleansing, okay? Right? How did we not, when we lost all our bodies, return to source, okay? Well, at that time, the source was Lucifer, okay? So what had to happen? Anybody want to take a guess, take a shot?
They had to entrust their spirit into Lucifer.
Right. We didn't have to entrust. I mean, it automatically happens. Okay, you go back to source when you lose your body. Okay? Right? So everything was in Lucifer. Okay? And notice it was the waters below, not the water below, right?
Oh,
the waters below. There were many, many, many of us. Okay? And Lucifer was placed into the consciousness of the planet. Okay? This is when that actually happened. Okay? Lucifer became the consciousness of the planet. Okay? And all survived in him.
Wow.
Okay? Well, now take a look at this. Where did Adam come from?
Well, whatever the garden is. Well, no, I don't. He's placed in the garden. I don't know.
Where did Adam come from? Dude, the Bible tells you that.
Comes from the earth, yeah, created from the dirt.
Oh, that's right.
Of the ground. So Adam actually came out of the material that all us old growers created, didn't he? Adam came out of Lucifer. He came out of the dust of the soil. Okay? Adam came out of the earth. And if Lucifer is the consciousness of the earth, Gaia, call it whatever you want it, we like Lucifer, Adam came out of Lucifer. Okay? Now there are two things that God didn't put there. Okay? One is Adam, okay? And the other is the big tree of the knowledge of good and evil in the center of the garden. Okay? If you read the Bible very carefully, you'll see God did this on the first day, did this on the second day, did this on the fifth day. Okay, then he created all the trees and the birds and this and that. Okay? And he placed the tree, you know, the one tree in the garden, okay, which is the tree of life. But he didn't place the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It was already there. Adam he created from the dust of the earth. He didn't place Adam there, and Adam is the son of God. Adam is the soul of God, okay? His first son, okay? Well, first son that's going to be in the flesh, okay? So Adam was created out of Lucifer, okay? Out of Lucifer came Christ. And Adam is the living soul, the forerunner of Christ, okay? Came out of dust, came out of the planet, he came out of Lucifer. Michael is the new source, okay? He's the one referred to as, the translation is Lord God. That's what the Christians came up with. But that's not what at all, okay? The Lord God was in the garden at that time. But that is not what it means. From the Hebrew, it is YHVH Elohim, which means the God who will be, okay? Right? So the God who will be, this is Michael walking around, okay? And his tree, okay, is the tree of life. And the other tree is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, okay? Now, tree is a metaphor for what, Shawn?
Angel or spirit.
Same as water, spirit,
Yeah.
okay? You got the two trees, you got the two spirits. You've got the one of all of the spiritual material before, which is Lucifer. It's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, okay? And the other one is the tree of the spirit, that is Michael, that is the creator spirit, okay? One of them, okay, there are two collectives, okay? All one God. One of them is much, much larger. That is our tree, okay? The other one is much smaller, but much more pure, okay? Now, the plan at this time was God had it with creator gods, okay? Enough, okay? Enough robbing, enough stealing, enough minds of our own. There was a plan was no more gods. Lucifer was the God maker, okay? Lucifer is the God maker. Everything came through Lucifer. The new plan was that Adam would partake, eat, or share of, okay, the tree of life, okay, which is the creator through YHVH, the Son Spirit, okay? And we weren't even going to have bodies. There weren't going to be any more flesh bodies, okay, because you didn't need it, okay? The point was, once again, Lucifer won out, okay? Once again, Lucifer went out because Adam chose the tree of Lucifer's spirit, okay? In eating Lucifer's fruit, which is Lucifer's spirit, they, humanity, would become like gods. Once again, the old system, spirit through matter, okay, or flesh. You will become like God, knowing good and evil, okay? Hang on one second. I got somebody at the door. Thank you very much, dude. Hi. I'm on the radio, so I got headphones. Okay, I'm done with that. Everybody there?
Yep, we're here.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to need Kando to sing for a minute.
No singing. Stop that. Okay. So let's go back. Let's first go to, does everybody understand who the us was in the Bible? Okay? Let's go to the first biggest translation error in the Bible. This isn't the new one I'm going to tell you. This is one I've known for a while, and I've told you about it. Okay? Okay, and this is Genesis 1:26. Okay? Right? And Andrea, who's the fastest typer, you or Shawn?
Could be Shawn.
Very close.
I don't know.
Type this in, okay, because I want this to come out in the chat room.
Okay.
This is the first biggest error that humanity has been misled about forever and ever and ever. Okay, and I found this one about 3 years ago. Okay? And it's 1:26. Type this in, Shawn.
Uh-huh.
And God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. Okay, does everybody see and understand that? God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. Okay? Number one, who do you think the us is? Who's he talking to? Now, Christians come up with, oh, it's the Trinity, it's Jesus, right? No. It's all of us that were there, okay? This is all taking place in the Garden of Avan, or Eden, okay? Avan in Hebrew, Eden, okay? This is all taking place on the earth, okay? Right? Nope, it's all of us. It's the same us that we're going to talk about in the next translation. So God said, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. That's not what it says, okay? Okay, and that is the biggest problem with humanity, okay, that you think you're made in the image, or Christianity and Judaism. You think you're made in the image of God, okay? No, it's not what it says. Number one, God is spirit, okay? So if you're made in his image, then you're spirit, okay? Here's what it actually says in Hebrew. You want to type this in, Shawn?
Sure.
Let us make man with our image. I'm not hearing you typing.
I can't win. I muted it because Helios got on me about leaving it unmuted. Let us make man with our image.
As our shape
all
or
messed up. Let us make man with our image as our form.
As our shape or form. Okay, when you go and read the Hebrew from the ancient texts, the older texts, okay, it's clear as day. It doesn't say at all, let us make man in our image, in our likeness. The word is betzalmenu. Be can mean in or with, and kidmotenu. So it actually says, let us make man in our image as our shape or as our form. That's what it actually says, okay?
With our image or as our image?
With our image. The image is our spirit. Mm-hmm. As our shape or as our form. The word means the same thing, okay? Does everybody see that translation? Okay? So all the religions have been misled by that one verse. And all the angels knew it. I've had arguments up top with them all the time. You let them be deceived. You let humanity be deceived in believing this crap. Okay? I mean, the Bible goes back and contradicts all that. God is spirit. You must worship him in spirit, right? Right? So, okay. Right? You are the form. Okay, so that's the first biggest translation in the Bible. Okay? Man was made, or Adam was made, okay, with our image. Image is our spirit, okay, as our shape or form. Okay? Now, let's go to the one I just found the other day. And I want you to type this stuff in. I'll first give you the regular translation, okay? Saying this was just amazing or shocking. Okay, we know everything was put into the earth, okay? Okay. Get rid of that piece of paper. Boom. Okay, here we go. Genesis 3:3. Shawn, are you typing this in?
Okay.
This is Eve speaking to the serpent. But of the fruit of the tree, which is in the center of the garden, God said, shall not eat from it. Okay? Let's go to verse. Okay, let's just leave it like that for a minute. God said you shouldn't eat from it. That is the translation. Okay, now I checked all the Christian translations, okay, and they, transpose love, they transpose life and spirit, and most of it's due to misunderstanding, not having the knowledge of spiritual things and metaphors. But I rarely, hold on a second.
Well, that garden would actually be the planet itself then, wouldn't it?
What now?
Wouldn't the garden be the planet itself then?
No.
Or the garden, the center would be the planet, but the garden would be, well, you said there's no astral at that time.
It's simple. Yeah, astral hasn't come yet. We got a ways to go, 4,000 years. Okay, maybe more. No, it's so much simpler than that. Okay, well, I usually don't check the old Hebrew once in a while because they mistranspose life in spirit and wind in spirit. Ruach in Hebrew really means wind, but it's actually used as spirit, okay? Yet they translate it down. Rather than giving it the highest translation, they give it the lowest because they didn't understand. But, okay, the word is mimenu. Put that in English, M-E-M-A-I-N-U. M-E-M-A-I-N-U.
Yeah. One more time?
M-E-M-A-I-N-U.
Okay.
Okay?
Got it.
So what you have is, Eve said, but of the fruit of the tree, and the fruit is the soul or spirit of the tree, which is in the center of the garden, God said, ye shall not eat from it. Okay? Now let me give you the true translation. You ready to type it in, Shawn? Genesis 3:3. Eve said, type it again, but of the fruit of the tree, which is in the center
Wait. God said, sorry. God said. Eve didn't say it.
No, Eve's saying it. Just type it.
Okay, sorry.
It's the same thing you already typed once. Type it again. Type the same thing.
Of the tree.
Which is in the center of the garden. God said, ye shall not eat. Did you stop at eat?
You shall not eat.
Stop. And the word is mimenu. Okay? Just write mimenu in there. Okay. So the actual translation, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the center of the garden, God said, ye shall not eat mimenu. I had that word underlined in Hebrew, okay, highlighted. I have a real old JPS, okay, 1908 Hebrew versions of the text. Okay, now none of the Hebrew is ever adulterated. I mean, they are so specific to scribes and everything. I mean, if they really unlike the Christians, I mean, if they moved one letter or one nekudot for the vowels, I mean, death, okay? Never happened, okay? But yet the translators also were subject to, okay, their own understandings. Let's go to Genesis 3:5. Ready, Shawn? To type?
Yes.
Okay, and we got to really get going because, my gosh. The serpent said, the day you eat thereof,
Okay.
Your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God.
God or gods?
God. Okay. Now let's type it again. Type the same thing. Okay. After you're done with eat, okay, where you have thereof, place mimenu.
Continue, your eyes will be
Open and you will be like God. Actually, go ahead and put God in the world.
okay.
Okay. In verse 3:11, Michael is speaking now, the Lord God, and he's questioning them, okay? He's madder than hell. He's really pissed. Okay? And he says this, type it in there, have you eaten of the tree that I commanded thou shalt not eat? Okay. Now type it again. Have you eaten of mimenu? Take the tree out. Have you eaten of mimenu that I commanded you thou shalt not eat? Okay, does everybody see what the translation is? The word mimenu means of us or from us. So the translation going back to 3:3, okay? But of the fruit of the tree which is in the center of the garden, God said, ye shall not eat of us. Okay? Verse 5, the serpent said, the day you eat, they have thereof, don't they? The day you eat thereof? The day you eat of us, your eyes will be opened and you will be like God. Okay? Verse 11, Michael speaking. After they did it, have you eaten of the tree that I commanded you, thou shalt not eat? Not what he says. He says, have you eaten of us that I commanded you, thou shalt not eat? Who's the us, Andrea?
Lucifer's collective consciousness.
All of us that were in him, we were the tree. Okay? That's exactly what it says in Hebrew. Mimenu means of us or from us. In fact, a little later in verse 22, they use the same words. Okay? And they have them translated correctly. Of us. Okay? They have them translated correctly. Adam partook of us. We were the tree of the Spirit that were in Lucifer. It shows a couple things, okay? It shows that the tree is more than a tree, right? Okay? It shows the tree is more than a tree, okay? We know the tree is spirit, but the translators didn't. We also know that eat, okay, throughout the New and Old Testament is the metaphor to partake or share of, okay? Right? We also know everything that Alpha has taught us, okay? Before the firmament, we are all gods having the ability to fragment and grow the spirit. Okay? To survive the quenching of the earth, all the Nephilim, all the lesser gods, were placed into Lucifer and placed into the earth consciousness. Okay? When the Creator separated the waters from the waters, again, he didn't separate the water from the water, he separated the waters from the waters. The spirits below from the spirits below, the two collectives. Two trees. Okay? The tree of Lucifer and all in him, okay, all the gods, all the Elohim, okay, and everything that was from above, okay, in Michael. Okay. Okay, Eve says again, but the fruit of the tree in the center of the garden, don't eat from us. I mean, holy shit, okay. The serpent says, for God knows that the day that you eat from us, your eyes will be open. Well, of course they'll be open, okay? If the spirit that you are going to carry is one of a god before you, then what are you, Shawn?
You're a fragment?
You're you'd be the same thing. You're carrying a fragment of a creator God. Yeah, you'd be the same thing.
Okay.
The spirit that is in you determines, okay? Right? Serpent says, and the serpent told the truth, for God knows that today you eat of us, your eyes will be open, okay? And you will be like gods, Elohim, okay? If your spirit is that of an Elohim, then you are an Elohim, okay? Okay, it confirms first the tree is a spirit and consciousness. It's not just a tree. I've been telling you what the metaphor is God taught me the metaphors. But, you know, I mean, okay. Even though it all fits, every single time the metaphor is used, you put spirit in throughout the 1,000 pages of the Bible, and it works. Okay? And it also shows the us. Who are the us? Eat from us. Okay? If you partake or share of us, the Elohim, you will be an Elohim also. Okay? If you partake or share of an angel, then what will you be, Ashara?
An angel.
Okay. If you put the two translations together, okay, let us make man with our image, as our shape and as our form, and then don't eat from us, okay, right? Does it start to make sense? Okay? Man is the body. You are the spirit, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, when you look at the translation, I mean, I was astounded. I even had it underlined. Don't partake of us, okay? We're supposed to eat of us. Even Michael says, did you eat of us? You weren't supposed to eat of us, okay? What are you doing? Okay, it's enormous. Okay, the translators inserted one verse, okay, again, it's verse 322, and theirs translated is from us. Okay, there are no mistakes. I'm not wrong, okay? Basically, they didn't understand what was being said. I mean, how could they understand? Don't eat from us, it's a tree, okay? I mean, if you took anybody who read the Bible and didn't understand the metaphors, how could it be don't eat from us? They're talking about a tree. You understand that, right, Ashara?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? So what they did is they twisted the word mimenu. One time they put thereof, and one time they left tree in there. Tree is etz, okay? Right? It's not mimenu. From us or of us. Don't eat from us. Okay? It's enormous. It's enormous as to what it says, okay? Don't partake of our spirit. They weren't supposed to. Adam, in partaking of the spirit, would become like us, a god, right? A flesh and a fragment would now be the system. The system now, instead of going through the tree of life, which is God's spirit through Michael, is still back through Lucifer again, okay? And it doesn't say he will become like one of us. That's also what the translation says later on. Adam will become like one of us. It says, not he will become, he was one of us, okay? That's a few verses later. He was one of us, okay? It's just astounding, okay? So I don't think the Hebrew scribes and translators adulterated it. I think it didn't make sense to them, okay? Adam or partake, Adam ate, shared, or partook of us, all that was grown in Lucifer, okay? At this point, the Creator's plan, God's plan, Michael's plan went out the window, okay? So once again, matter would be transformed through the flesh, okay? Okay, Adam chose Lucifer, okay? Well, then he needed a flesh body, didn't he? Because, see, you understand, Adam was a spirit, okay? Adam was a light body. He was made out of the dust, okay? But he didn't have a physical body, okay? So where did that come from? What do you think, Ashara?
I'm trying
Tough one, but it's right in there. It's everybody misunderstands it. So they're covered with leaves, and they're hiding in the garden, and they're scared, okay? Right?
Right.
Michael gave them garments of flesh. Garment is a body, whether it be the light body, the astral body, or the physical body. This is called the garment, okay? Mm-hmm. He gave them garments of skin, okay? Oh, about 4 years ago when we used to post on Amazon, we had a pretty sharp lady with us called, what's her name? Truth Seeker. Remember her, Shawn?
Oh, yeah.
And she one time, she goes, no. They sacrificed animals in the garden, and she knew the Bible pretty well. But she said they sacrificed animals in the garden, and then they took the skin off him and gave him to Adam. And I went, what? Go back and read it. She went back and read it, and then she was embarrassed. She says, oh, my God, that's what they taught me in Sunday school. That's what she teach, okay? Oh, no, they sacrifice. No, garments of skin. It's actually garments of flesh, okay? Right? Okay, now it goes into the Nephilim. That's another thing that in verse 6, where did they come from? It says the Nephilim were there at that time. The sons of God, right, went to the wives of men, right, and had children with them. Where did they come from? They're also from the same place. You know, it lays out how God created and restructured the world. But all of a sudden, if you read carefully and you understand, okay, there are certain things that just appeared from nowhere. God didn't create them, okay? Right? And the Nephilim were first into flesh, okay? Okay, the sons of God went to the daughters of men and they had children by them, okay? Well, first, once again, they placed their essence into the forms, okay? And they almost went in order, okay? Biggest, most powerful were first in, okay? And they went down the line, okay, to where you were in the line as to when you got your body, okay? So in that verse, they speak of the Nephilim, okay, as heroes, men of glory. They use renown, but the word is glory, okay? But later, all of them were hunted down, okay, by Israel, by Michael, okay, and they were killed for their wealth. God was not mocked. They were first in, okay? And believe me, the Creator God and Michael were most pissed off over this as you can ever be, okay? Right? Because remember, okay, everybody wants to think predetermined, but nothing is predetermined, okay? It plays out in time through the flesh body. This is how it works. We talk a lot about this in the book, okay? Right? But God was not mocked. And he never, the Creator never forgets. He may lose the battle occasionally, but never the war, okay? And he always wins, okay? And he always has his revenge, you could say. Why does the Creator always win, Sean Clark?
Because he's all there is.
Or anything else, okay?
He's playing a chess game against himself.
We may play it out in form, okay, like we decide, okay? But it doesn't make any difference, okay? He'll do what it takes. Okay, and what did he do? What did he do? All the Nephilim got back in. You had all these different lines splitting off. What did he do next?
He pruned them.
Exactly, and how did he do that?
By killing them off.
Exactly, he killed them off again. How did he do that?
I don't know, which depends on which one you're talking about.
Yeah. Through the years, he killed them.
The flood. Okay.
Okay.
And the Creator said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. Okay. They have all these lines, and everybody, when the Nephilim were back in, I ain't having that shit. It ain't happening no more. No way. If we're going to have flesh, let's have one flesh. My flesh. Do you understand what I'm saying? My line. Okay? So what did he do? He had the flood. Okay, Noah and his three sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay? And he had the flood. And he killed off every other line. Okay? Right? And the plan was one line genetically engineered from one source. Okay? Lucifer through him. Can't get rid of Lucifer. Okay? So let's eliminate all. Getting rid of Lucifer is getting rid of himself. You all understand that, right?
Right.
You know, a lot of the preachers say, oh, why can't God kill the devil? Just do it. He can't. What are you talking about? Right? On himself. Okay? Right? Cutting off the left hand. Right? You can't do that. Okay?
Yep.
So what he did, okay, he had the flood. Okay? Noah and the line of Adam. That's Adam's line. Okay? That's us. Us. We are the only ones that survive. But all the rest of the Nephilim split off in all directions. The flood was really a mass cleansing. Okay? So the Creator eliminated all the other lines but one, Adam's. And then he promised no more floods ever. Okay? No more floods. I'll have the rainbow covenant with you. Right? Whenever the rain comes down, you see the rainbow. No, there's going to be no more flood. But he didn't say anything about fire, did he, Sean?
Next time he's going to kill us with rainbow unicorns.
Right. There we go. He said nothing about fire. Okay? He promised. Never again will I bring another flood to cleanse you. Okay? Now let's go to Noah. This is very important. The primary spirit. Split three ways. Shem is going to be Michael's line. Ham, okay, which is Lucifer's line, which would be Egypt. And Japheth was YHVH or Christ line. This is the line that came from the tree. It's not spoken about much, but came from the tree. Okay? These are the three lines are split into two. One formed Israel in the Hebrews. This is Michael's line, Shem. The other for Lucifer and the 71 other nations. Okay? Now let me read this to you. Now Canaan is the firstborn of Ham. Ham is Lucifer. So Canaan is still Lucifer. But this is pretty interesting. Okay, I remember when I first read it, when Lucifer was teaching me the Bible at this point, okay? And let me just go and find it. So we're going to be a little disorganized when I find it. Okay. And here it is, okay? So this whole thing about Noah being naked and all that, and the sun's going to cover him up, okay? Remember, Canaan is the firstborn of Ham, which is Lucifer. Okay, so here it goes. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment, laid it across their shoulders. They walked in backwards, yada, yada, yada. When Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, here's what he said, okay? It's actually his grandson, but same thing. I mean, it's his generation. Cursed be Canaan. The lowest of slaves will he be to his brothers. Okay, now here's what he says. Blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem. Okay, YHVH, it's Michael. Blessed be Michael, the God of Shem. May Canaan, which is Lucifer, be the slave of Shem. Okay? So blessed be YHVH, Michael, the God of Shem. May Lucifer be the slave of Shem. Do you understand what he's saying? Right? May God extend the territory of Japheth. That's his Christ line. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be his slave. Okay, Andrea, this one's for you. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem. What are the tents of Shem?
The flesh, the body.
Got it. Tent is a metaphor for body or flesh.
Tent's
So
like a house. It's the poorhouse.
Same as house. Now, house is used more in the New Testament, and tent is used more in the Old Testament, okay? So what he's saying, may Christ live in the bodies of Shem, which is Michael, and may Canaan be his slave. So what's he saying?
Eventually that Michael is going to become the Logos.
Live in the bodies of Michael's line, Shem, and may Lucifer be his slave.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yep, and it means that Michael will become Christ and will become the next Logos.
It all connects. What I'm saying. You know, you ask why I'm talking about some of these things, because it all connects. Okay? The Christ line will go through Michael, through Shem. Okay? Right? And Lucifer, Egypt, will be his slave. Okay? Doesn't look like that, but that's exactly what happened. Okay? Then Shem descended to Abraham. How many generations do you think it was Shem from the father? How many generations incarnate, Andrea, from Shem down
9?
to the father of Abraham?
9.
Of course, because we've already talked about that.
Right, and then new man after that.
Was the new creation, okay? From his flesh, both the earthly and the heavenly would be born, okay? Both the spirits or angels or gods or Elohim and the flesh bodies. Abraham was God through Lucifer, one line, okay? Okay? And the nations, okay, which became the 71 other gods and archangels. There were 72 gods involved in this whole creation thing, okay? Gods, archangels. They were more than gods. They were lords, okay? Much more than when I was, okay? They were the gods of the nations, okay? In Daniel, Gabriel talks about, I was fighting with the gods of Persia, okay? Each one had a god over them, archangel, okay? Almost the same thing. Okay, going back to Abraham, Abraham was El Elyon Incarnate. Now, there are 3 primary gods throughout this whole time, okay? All of one, okay? Okay? All of them are YHVH. But the highest manifestation was El Elyon, which means, okay, God Most High. The second, okay, like the Son, was El Shaddai, okay, God Almighty. And the third was YHVH, which is the spirit that would become. It means to be or to become, which was Michael. This was the line we're creating, YHVH, Okay? So those are the three primary gods. Abraham was, and it says in Scripture, I'm trying to stay away from going and quoting everything, El Elyon. Okay? Now understand what Abraham was. He was your flesh, okay, predecessor, progeny, and your spiritual one. Everything came from him. In fact, the Creator speaks in the Bible, and he says to Abraham, and it's kind of confusing. I mean, what's he talking about? He says, I will make your seed, descendants is the word he used, seed, soul, right? I will make your fragments as many as the stars in the sky. Wow. Okay, but then he says, again, 5 verses later, I will make your seeds as many as the sand on the seashore. And he goes back and forth. Stars in the sky, sand on the seashore. Okay? And I remember reading it and I said, man, is he confused when I was first reading the Bible? Because I knew nothing about it. Mm-hmm. Something's wrong here. Okay, what do you think? What was he saying, Allfaaraa?
Spirit and flesh, spirit and flesh. I'm going to expand your line up above and down below.
One being, okay, which was him, El Elyon Incarnate, God Most High, will come everything above, okay, and everything below, okay? Because every soul, every angel has a soul, correct? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Every spirit has a fragment. Most of them do, that are in this plan, okay? So anyways, it was funny. Later on, when I was reading, I got this book by a guy named John Hagee, okay? And he's a big Christian pastor, and he talks about some apocrypha and, apocrypha times and all that stuff and Revelations. But what he said, he was the only one, John Hagee, I got to give him props. He was the only one that really ever got it. He says, look what he's saying, okay? You've got the stars in the sky, and what's star the metaphor for, Allfaaraa?
Angel.
Right, okay? And you've got the sand on the seashore. But what Hagee says is the stars are the Christians, right? I laugh so hard, right? And why I laugh so hard, yeah, it makes Christians always the good guys, right? No, at this time, they weren't yet even heathens, okay? There were no Christians, okay? Right? We're 2,500 years coming up, 3,000 years, right? Sorry, buddy, but at least he understood that there was something different. So from Abraham, okay, one being incarnate, okay, and he wasn't, a lot of people think he was a Hebrew. No, he wasn't. He was a Chaldean before he became a Hebrew. And his real name was Avram, okay, and it was changed to Avraham in Hebrew. Not Abraham, but Avraham, father of many, okay? Okay, so now here's where it gets kind of kinky for those of you people that are kind of twisted and kinky, like Helios and Siriliel. We know Siriliel is kind of kinky. I mean, she said something on the post about that. I know she's turning red right now, right? John?
Yeah.
You're not giggling.
Yeah. I actually Googled John Hagee's website.
Okay, come. Interbreeding within the Adamic line, okay? Again, if we're creating one line, okay, we can't go out and make babies with the heathens, can we, Allfaaraa?
No. Mm-mm.
We have to keep the bloodline pure. So this is, again, we're building the one God's line, the Adamic line from Adam to Jesus, okay, to Christ. Okay, I hate the word Jesus. Jesus was the flesh body, okay? So we had interbreeding. And this is where the nations were formed. The 72 major gods or archangels were assigned as gods to the nation. YHVH chose Israel as his inheritance. He chose the Hebrews, okay? That's why only was the Spirit God of Israel, okay? Nowhere else. God will become your God. I will choose you, okay? Nope. The Spirit was nobody else's God, okay? Yeah, but first, it was time to prune the line again, right? So, what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah? What did he? He promised no more floods, didn't he, Allfaaraa?
That's right. Firebomb the place.
Yeah, so he firebombed the place, okay? And, a lot of people, I used to argue with religious people and said, God never changes his mind. No, you're wrong. This is evidence of the one time, okay, in writing, that the Creator changed his mind. And who did he change his mind to? Abraham. And who was Abram? Himself. Okay? Okay? If you know the story, okay, he's going to destroy by fire, okay, Sodom and Gomorrah. And Abraham argues with him. Does he not, Shawn?
Yep.
Stands there and it's
Lot, isn't it, or something? Or he finds Lot.
No, Lot is there. Lot is in Sodom. Okay? Right? Yeah, he was the one that said, come outside, we want to have sex with you. Mm-hmm. That's not what it really said. Come outside, we want to take your spirit and give you ours. Okay? We want to partake of you. Okay? But anyways, so Abraham says, hey, wait, God, listen to me for a minute. What if there are 50 righteous men in there? Would you destroy all of these millions of people if there were 50? And El Elyon, God Most High, answers back, no, if there are 50, I definitely wouldn't do it. And then Abraham starts thinking, well, maybe there ain't 50, right? What if there's only 20? Okay? And El Elyon, again, Abraham is his flesh, and it's his spirit. Okay? So Abraham has a lot of power over the Creator. Okay? What if there are only 20? Right? And what does the Creator say? Hey, if there's only 20, right, I won't destroy it. It gets down to what if there are only 5, okay? So anyways, by fire, the Creator destroys all the other lines. Okay, are you with me, Andrea?
Yep.
Allfaaraa. Okay. So now, okay, let's show you what happens from there. We got the one line again. Okay? And remember, one of the other translations that's in the beginning of the Bible, when it says be fruitful and multiply, right? We all know that one, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, no. What it really says is be fruitful and replenish the earth. Okay? Back in Genesis 1:5, replenish the earth. Okay? If it says replenish the earth, okay, it must have been plenished at one time. Wouldn't you agree, Andrea?
Yes. It's been cleansed.
Exactly. It was. It had been cleansed. Okay? Replenish. Fill it up again. The word is umalu. Fill up. Okay, replenish. Yeah, fill it up again. Right? Which means it was filled once before. Okay, now fill it up again. Okay. So let's go to the kinky part for you, Siriliel. Okay? Lot had sex. This is written in the Bible. I'm not going to read all the verses. Lot had sex with his 2 daughters, right? We got an echo.
Yeah.
And from his daughters, hold on, I got to cough. He had 2 children, okay, which went to the nations, didn't go to Abraham's line. Again, the line's coming back. Lot had sex with his 2 daughters. Oh, my God, and had 2 children. Isaac, okay? Now let's go to Abraham first. Abraham married his sister. Okay? Do you understand that? His father's daughter. Again, different mothers, but Abraham married his own sister to have Isaac. Okay? Isaac, which means yitzhak, to laugh in Hebrew, married the daughter of Abraham's brother. Okay? So we were all a bunch of ancestral bastards. Okay? That's where we came from, incest. But that's what happened, okay? Isaac married the daughter of Abraham's brother. Now, when Jacob was going to get married, Isaac and his mom said, wait. You can't go marry among the heathens, okay? Go find your wife among Laban. Laban was Isaac's mother's brother, okay? And he was forced into it by his parents. But not only did he have to marry his dad's mother's brother, he had to take the oldest sister, too. Right? He had to take the old one to get the young one. Right? Rachel and Leah. So, I mean, if you can see this, the entire line interbred with itself. The God or Adamic line, the flesh bodies all interbred. Okay? Now, I mean, it sounds almost horrific. Right?
Like royal families. They do that now.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Okay? And this is why the royal families later did it. Trying to create a line. You understand why it was done, right, Shawn?
Yeah, I guess so.
What do you mean you guess so? You either do or you don't, if you don't answer questions about it. Okay? Okay, understand, as you modify your genetics, no Anunnaki, guys, okay? Ain't no Planet X coming down here. Chris, whatever your last name is, ain't happening, okay? Right? So, by staying with the same family line, we're not losing any of the genetic modifications that the spirit does to the flesh, are we, Allfaaraa?
No. Mm-mm.
And you're keeping that line pure. And why is this important? Might sound like a bunch of Bible BS, but it tracks the whole thing, okay? It explains it. how we got to where we are, okay? So, okay, it was really important not to use any outside material. Remember, every incarnation, you get better, bigger, and you've brought more light to matter. Have you not, Shawn?
Yeah. You know, it's just hard to keep track with the Bible stuff, what's spirit and what's flesh and what...
I understand that. That's
he married his sister, and you wonder, is that a metaphor, or is it really his physical sister? You know what I'm saying?
No, dude, it's not a metaphor. Dude, if it was a metaphor, I would have told you it was a metaphor. Right? It's flat out. Remember, the Bible.
I'm hoping it's a metaphor.
It's not a metaphor. The Bible is literal, unless it's a metaphor or a parable. Right? But no. It's not only that he says he married his sister. Abraham says in his own words, I told you she was my sister. In fact, she was. Sarah was his sister. She was. Wait a minute. I'm getting confused now with who's who and what's what. Okay. There are so many sisters and brothers and cousins. Okay. But she was his father's daughter, different mother, right? Abraham lays it out. She, in fact, is my father's daughter, but a different mother. So when he explains it like that, it can't be a metaphor, can it?
Okay.
Wrong answer, Clarky. Okay. Deer in the headlights. If he explains it, and Abraham explains it, I said she was my sister. This is what he tells the Egyptians that wanted her body. I said she was my sister, and I did not lie. She's the daughter of my father, but not of the same mother. So he actually explains it. In explaining it, it can't be a metaphor if he explains it literally. Would you agree with that?
It's a half-sister.
Well, yeah. Right. Yeah, half-sister. But Abraham, my point was, when he explains it out, then you have an understanding of it. So it can no longer be a metaphor or a parable.
Right,
okay? Because he explains, that was my point.
Right,
okay? Okay? The point was God wanted the bodies, okay? Right? Right? And the reason he wanted the bodies and the line pure is to get to what? The 144,000 Israel, the Hebrews. God wanted his own flesh. He is genetically creating the Hebrews at this time. This is what this whole thing has been about. Okay? Getting his own flesh for his son, Michael. Okay? Now understand this. Okay? It's the seeds in soil. The soil is what? Ashara?
The flesh.
And the seed is what, Shawn?
Soul.
The fragment. Right. Exactly. Okay, good seed is placed into good soil. Okay? When the plant grows and has seeds, those new seeds are placed into soil again, right? Mm-hmm. Each generation, the soil and the seeds get better. Do you understand that? Does it make sense to you, Ashara?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Ask anyone, this is a bad analogy, not an inappropriate joke, Ashario, but ask any marijuana grower. I used to know a bunch of them, okay, how it works. The best seeds put into the best soil produce the best pot plants. Okay, I know, guys, inappropriate maybe. But each generation, the seeds get better and better. Do you understand that? Okay? As the plant grows, the seeds that come out from that better plant, okay, are used and replanted. Each time the plant grows in the soil, okay, the plant gets better and the seeds get better. Okay? Anybody who grows or breeds roses or marijuana understand that. Interbreeding created good soil and good seeds. Anybody not understand that?
No, got it.
So every single one of you, including you, Clark, are born of incest.
Great.
You are. Okay? You are both the sand on the seashore and you are the stars in the sky. Okay? Now let's talk about David's line. Judah, okay, one of the 12 archangels. Okay? Judah was Michael. Had sex with his own daughter. Okay? It's the whole story about, I'm not going to go into it, the whole story about the temple hooker or whatever it was. Okay? He didn't know, okay, that it was his own daughter. Okay? But to get to David, in whom heaven and earth were merged, okay, the first time Lucifer and Michael in one body, okay, Judah had sex with his own daughter and bore him twin sons, okay, which became the forefather of David, in whom heaven and earth, Lucifer, Michael, Lucifer and the Creator God, were merged the first time in flesh. Let's talk about the Hebrews, okay? This is the most important thing that's going to happen, okay? Right? The one flesh specifically created, okay, for YHVH, okay? Let's create, and this was what getting it was all about. Let's create our own flesh, the best soil, okay, right? Remember, there were three gods, okay, active at this time. El Elyon, God Most High, El Shaddai, God Almighty, and YHVH. Now, technically, they're all a manifestation of the Creator. So you can say there's one God. Yes, there is, but there's many, many, many aspects and fragments of Him. Each of the archangels, okay, were a manifestation or actually an aspect of God, okay? Gabriel, in Hebrew, actually, Gever-el, which means might of God, or God is my might. Mikael, who is God, okay, right? Hanael, the victory of God, okay? Oriel, the light of God. Each one is a God in itself, an archangel, an aspect of the Creator, okay? So are El Elyon, El Shaddai, and YHVH, okay? Basically, it says, okay, El Elyon was Abraham. Blessed be Abraham by El Elyon, God Most High. And all peoples on earth will be blessed through you, okay? Now, blessed in this case is a metaphor. The blessing is what? The giving of the Spirit. Right, Asharia and Ashara?
Right.
I slipped on that one.
It's okay.
Caught myself real quick. Somebody said I did that in one show. I called Ashariel. I caught myself, people. Caught myself. Two beautiful angels, demonesses, creator little gods, whatever you want to call them. I think one's a little taller than the other, though. All right. In height, not in stature, in height. You're pretty tall. How tall are you, Ashara?
5'8". I'm pretty tall.
I thought that's pretty big for a female. Okay.
Tall, not big. Tall.
Tall.
That's right. Well, I mean, parts of her are considered big, from what I've heard. Big parts. Okay.
Big knees.
That's
kidding.
what it was. Big knees. There's having big buns. Okay. Now, God says to Abraham, my contract, my covenant with you will be in your flesh. Okay? Okay, understand. Okay, here's where we first come about circumcision, where the Creator tells Abraham, every male at 8 days old shall be circumcised. Okay? Right? My covenant is a contract, is in your flesh. Doesn't say through your flesh. It doesn't say about your flesh. Doesn't say because of your flesh, right? He says through your flesh. Siriliel, start singing. Oh, la, 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 la. I'm singing for Siriliel. Actually,
you know he's on with us now, right?
You know it's a time difference.
Something for us. The angels come down. My covenant is in your flesh. Okay? Right? Okay. Now let me explain to you circumcision. Okay? Nobody understands it. Okay? Most of the people think it's the cutting of the foreskin. No. That is the seal or sign of circumcision. Okay? They were marked. Okay? All of the males. Okay? Right? Were brought to YHVH before him on the 8th day. We did the cutting of the foreskin, and he put the spirit or soul into form. Okay? Okay? Circumcision began with Abraham. Okay? And Paul describes it later in the New Testament. There is no evidence of what true circumcision is other than you think it's the cutting of the foreskin in the Old Testament. In the New Testament, Paul explains where he says, Paul is the Archangel Gabriel, true circumcision is the placing of the spirit or the soul in the heart center. Okay? And this is what circumcision is. Placing of the spirit into flesh. Okay? And again, the contract was every male, 8 days old. Okay? El Shaddai, or God Almighty, was the God of Isaac. And El Shaddai is also known as, and we don't talk too much about him, people have asked, even little Wesley asked, okay, El Shaddai is Metatron. Okay?
Oh.
Metatron, technically the father of Michael. Okay? But they're all different aspects of God. Okay? YHVH was Mikael or Israel. Okay? The God of Jacob. And Jacob is Israel. That was his new name. Okay? And of the Hebrews. Only of the Hebrews. Okay? Right? The Spirit went with the Hebrews. Essentially, everybody is of YHVH. Okay? Right? YHVH is the Most High God. YHVH is El Shaddai. And YHVH is the Elohim and Michael. But they manifest, Shawn likes to call it like religious, different hats, different aspects of the Creator. Okay? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay? Isaac, again, was the two lines. Okay? It's always the two lines. Lucifer went through Esau. Okay? And the Hebrews went through, what's the other son's name? Come on, who's got it? What's the other?
No.
And Jacob, who became Israel. Okay? So the Hebrews and Michael went through Esau, or Jacob, and Lucifer's line went through Esau. Okay? So you have Michael in form, which is YHVH Elohim, the God who will be, or the Lord God, have him in form as Jacob or Israel. Okay? The next step were the 12 archangels. Okay? Now let me explain the dream, because the dream is awesome. Okay? Right? Let me explain the dream of Joseph. Okay? Again, it's one of those things where, yeah, it is a metaphor, and it is parable, but it's verified and explained. This is very critical. Just like Abraham saying, how do we know that, Michael, okay, was Jacob? Because I tell you so, because if you read it enough, you could put it together, right? How do we know that's true? How do we know the 12 tribes of Israel are the 12 archangels? Okay? What are stars, Ashara?
Angels.
Always. Consistent throughout Athena, consistent throughout the Bible. Okay, let me explain the dream, because this is awesome, okay? 37.5. Sorry, but I have to go through this. And, of course, I've got the wrong verse down, so let me find it. Oh, of course, it's in Genesis 37:5. Man, am I done. Here it is. Okay. Now pay careful attention to this. Joseph had a dream. Okay, and Joseph is the Christ, or would become the Christ. Okay, Joseph is Michael, right? He was the youngest of the 12. Okay. Listen to this dream I had. Okay, he's talking to his 11 brothers, the other 11 archangels. We were binding sheaves of grain of spirit, out in the field, when suddenly my sheaf, okay, my spirit, rose and stood upright, while your sheaves, to the other 11 archangels, gathered around mine and bowed down to me. Okay? So my sheaf, okay, my spirit rose up, and the rest of you, all the 11 of you, gathered around and bowed down to me. His brothers said, do you intend to reign over us? Will you actually rule us? And they hated him because of it. Okay, well, here comes the kicker. Then he had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. I had another dream, and this time, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars were bowing down to me. Okay? Now, of course, these are all metaphors. Okay? What is the sun, Ashara? Michael is the sun. Okay?
Yeah, okay.
We talked about this before. Lucifer. Okay? Divine counterparts.
Yep.
And what do you think the 11 stars are?
Archangels, the other ones.
Okay? So now here's the key. He says, listen, I had another dream, and this time, the sun and moon and 11 stars were bowing down to me. Okay? So what the metaphor is saying is Michael and Lucifer, father and the mother, and the 11 stars were all bowing down to me. That is a big, big, big statement. Okay? But again, it's metaphor. How do you know what the sun really is, Shawn? It's a metaphor.
Okay. What do you mean? Well, how do you know what it is?
Yeah, if he says the sun and moon were bowing down to me, how do you know it's really a person? You don't, do you?
Mm-hmm. Not unless you connect the dots.
Well, yeah, you'd have to connect the dots. Well, why don't we let the Bible and Michael, Israel, connect them for you? Okay? It explains it. If you read stuff carefully enough, it'll explain it. And I had another dream, and this time the sun and moon and the 11 stars were bowing down to me. Okay? Now, when he told his father as well as his brothers, his father rebuked him and said, "What is this dream you had?" Check it out. "Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" You see what just happened to Shara?
Yes. He just said the father was the sun, mother is the moon.
And the stars were the other angels, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah, he just filled in the metaphor, okay? He says sun and moon. But Jacob, Israel, Michael says, "Will your mother and I," meaning him, the sun, she, the moon, "and your brothers," the other stars, actually bow down to you? Okay, so just Abraham explaining out, okay, that, yeah, my sister really is, right? The metaphor is explained out, okay? Okay? The sun and moon, the 11 stars were bowing down to him. Well, now the metaphor is assigned by Jacob, okay? "Will your mother and I and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you?" Okay, well, yeah, he's the Christ, baby. That's who you're creating, okay? This is the divine line that will break away from all others, the flesh of the Hebrew and the spirit of YHVH. At this time, Joseph, they say because of the dream, yada, 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 right? They hated him. They faked his death, and they sent him into captivity in Egypt, okay? Well, it doesn't turn out that way. Joseph becomes basically the head of all Egypt and father to Pharaoh, okay? Right? Well, then they come and they say, okay, they find out that he's down there, and they come and tell his father Jacob, okay, he's not really dead, we lied, he's in Egypt, okay? And then it said there's grain in Egypt, okay? So you might want to think that they mean there's food in Egypt, right? All spirit came out of Egypt at that time, okay? Egypt was the home of the gods. That's where I lived. That's where the biatch, evil, was evil. And honestly, okay, Siriliel, okay, not Kando, not Coco, being incarnate at that time, okay, must have been actually messing or screwing with me, putting that picture up there. He knew what it was. I saw that picture, and I'll tell you what, I cannot remember Alfie being scared in a long, long time. But when I saw that face, that red lipstick, that blank stare, that chopped up bangs cut, I'm going, holy shit, where did that come from? Okay. I had not recalled the connection. I'd never seen the picture of a Shara looking like that. If you go to
Shara, I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's me, because of the little thing we had the week before. Okay? Right? I know you don't realize it, but Siriliel did. He put that picture up there for me to see, and I'll tell you what, I almost wet my pants. Okay? I almost wet my pants. Okay, you look at the picture she has on her Skype. It's this innocent little-looking girl. You look at the picture. If you cannot see the epitome of evil, I am telling you, I am telling you, I am telling you. But let's go forward, okay? So there's grain in Egypt, okay? When they're saying that, what are they really saying? Grain is a metaphor for spirit also, correct, Shawn? Low-grade spirit. Grain, wine, and oil, okay?
Correct.
Right? Grain is low-grade spirit, just like iron, okay? Okay? So God says to Jacob, okay, he's an old man now, I'll go with you, okay? And I will go with you there, and I will bring you back, and I will make you into a great nation there, okay? This is where the Hebrews, their bodies, would be built up, okay? Right? Now let's talk about the 13th archangel, okay? As Joseph stepped out to become what would be Christ, okay, the genetic predecessor, okay, we now have 11 archangels, okay? So what happened? Jacob selected from Joseph's 2 sons. Joseph had 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh. Now in Hebrew, it's almost funny because basically, okay, Jacob or Israel or Michael has to pick another archangel to replace Joseph, who stepped out, okay? Manasseh, you know what that kid's name means? What will I do, right? Is Manasseh, what will I do? In other words, what in the heck is he going to do? Now, Manasseh was the firstborn. Ephraim was the secondborn, okay? And normally, I mean, by rule, okay, you incarnate firstborn to firstborn. The firstborn is the first sign of the Father's strength. That's always been that way, correct? Right? The Bible says I've demonstrated that, right, Ashara?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
Not this time. Let me read to you what happened, okay? The 13th archangel. And watch how this happened, okay? Oh, I love flipping through the book. Oh, I hear you typing, John.
Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Here's what he says. This is Michael, Israel, used to be Jacob, okay, the father of Joseph, okay? Now then, your 2 sons born to you in Egypt, before I came to you here, will be reckoned as mine, okay? Ephraim and Manasseh will be mine, okay? So they will no longer be Joseph's children, okay? Just as Reuben and Simeon are mine, any children born to you after that will be yours. So basically, okay, Michael took his sons and made them as his, okay? But the one who became the archangel was the younger, and there's a whole story in this, okay? There's the whole story in this and how he did it. He put his right hand, okay, on the head of the oldest son, or no, on the youngest son, okay? And Joseph said, no, Father, your hands are wrong. And he crisscrossed them. And he said, no, this one will receive the blessing. He said, no, Father, that's the youngest, not the oldest, okay? So Ephraim was taken as one of Jacob's or Michael's sons, okay? And he was made technically the 13th archangel. But there are only 12 because Joseph stepped out, okay? Everybody understands that, okay? God says to Jacob, to Michael, I will go there with you and I bring you back. I'll make you a great nation, okay? Okay? Now, let's look at verse 16, okay? Check this out. Okay, this is the blessing that Joseph, okay, is receiving, okay, that Jacob is saying, may the God before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day. Okay, and who is Joseph's God, Ashara?
Michael.
Michael. Okay, look what he says. May the God who has been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm, may he bless these boys, may he give them his spirit, and may they be called by my name. Okay? So in other words, will Michael give them his spirit, and they be called by his name, his spirit. Okay, but what he says, the angel, first he says God, and then he goes back and says, the God who's been my shepherd all my life to this day, the angel who has delivered me from all harm. That is Michael. Okay? God, angel, same thing. Okay? And then Joseph is called the prince among his brothers. He is the Christ. Okay? At this time, the Hebrews in Egypt were enslaved 430 years. 1-9, okay? At about 40 years per incarnation, they had an entire cycle in Egypt, carrying and increasing the spirit of God, Lucifer, in order to transform the bodies and increase and grow the spirit. Remember, every incarnation, okay, the body gets better and able to do what? Carry more what, Ashara?
More light, more spirit.
Okay, that's how genetically you transform you. By bringing you the spirit into you the body, okay, kind of like the seeds. They get better every time. Okay? Okay? And eventually the Hebrews are going to be taken out by Michael and Moses. As God told him, I will go with you and I will bring you back. When Michael died in the flesh, okay, Moses and Aaron, okay, unlike anybody else, doesn't just say they died. He was gathered to his people. Yes, Israel was a collective, becoming God's collective, okay, the Creator's collective through YHVH. Now, this is very, very important, okay. The whole thing was to create the Hebrews, the flesh bodies, okay. And what better way to do it than throw them to the wolves? The Hebrews were always thrown to the wolves. Okay, Egypt was referred to as the iron smelting furnace. Okay, at this time, what came out of Lucifer was like low-grade ore. Okay, right? Or grain, same thing, base spirit. Okay? Let's talk about bricks without straw. Okay? This is a big thing that nobody seems to understand. Oh, yeah, they were making bricks. They weren't making bricks for the Egyptians, not to build buildings with. Okay? The brick is the block in the wall, the realm that each god, okay, is building above. Each of the 72 nations, 71 plus Israel, were building a realm or galaxy above, a mansion in the house of God that he talks about later with Christ. Okay? Right? It's a block. And the block is composed of every god's brick. Okay? Every god's spirit makes the entire spirit of the collective. Okay? And is referred to many, many times. Okay? The Hebrews were building the realm for the Egyptians as they were enslaved to Lucifer, so to speak. Okay? Israel had a block. Assyria had a block. Babylon had a block. Okay? All of the nations had a block. The block is the entire realm. Okay? The lumber, the collective of the spirit. And it's talked about, okay, where the Creator God says to Lucifer as Nebuchadnezzar in Babylon, no rock, no block will be taken out of you. Okay? And it really goes to the song, believe it or not, okay, by Pink Floyd. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. Okay? And I've used that before, and it's so true. That's what you are. You are a brick in the wall. So you put all the bricks together, they make a block. Okay? So every nation had a block. It's also sometimes referred to as the rock. The block, or the rock, is the collective. Okay? As above, so below. Okay? Within a realm or galaxy, which is the block signifies, you have all kinds of little star systems, do you not, Allfaaraa?
Yes.
Okay? Right? I don't know how many make up. Some are bigger than others, right, Shawn? But every galaxy is made up of billions and billions of stars and planets and everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
The bricks are the stars and planets. The block is the collective. You can assign it to like a galaxy, okay? And just like God's hand says, every galaxy is an archangel, okay? Right? Okay, so when they tell them, okay, you're going to make bricks without straw, what he's saying to them is you're going to build your bricks, okay, and build our block without spirit. They were using Lucifer's spirit, okay, right? No longer are we going to give you any more straw because, yeah, the spirit came from Egypt, but he's telling them we're not giving you any more, okay? Okay, so at this point also, here's something that's very interesting, okay? God goes back and forth. There's another one like stars in the sky and sand on the sea. God goes back and forth between Israel and the Hebrews, and Israel and the Hebrews. Okay? So he has Moses tell Pharaoh, let my people Israel go. 3 lines later, let my people the Hebrews go. Okay? 3 lines later, let my people Israel go. And let my people the Hebrews go. What is he actually saying? It's the same thing like Abraham, Allfaaraa. Can you put it together for me?
Right. Israel is the spirit above, and the Hebrews are the flesh bodies of the spirit.
Exactly. The same as the stars in the sky and the sand on the sea, right?
Right.
Yeah, but look at that. It says, is God confused? What's he talking about? Let Israel go. And they're telling him let the Hebrews go. No, he wanted both people. You have to understand. Give me the spirits, and the bodies. Okay? I want them both. Okay? Right? They spent 430 years carrying and increasing the spirit of God through Lucifer. Okay? So they've been tried in the fire. Would you agree, Siriliel?
Yes, I do.
He's awake.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Now people know, okay, both were necessary. Okay. So the brick is the kingdom or realm. The builders are building. And each nation, I mean, again, if you read the Old Testament, we're referred to as the builders. Those of us of old were the builders. But rebuilding the kingdom of heaven. Okay? Okay, one brick at a time. And each brick went into a block. Okay? The entire lump and each nation was a collective. Okay? Compared to a galaxy or star system. All the builders, okay, all its gods. Okay? Remember, we're still not yet souls. The spiritual material, we're still gods. Spirits that can fragment. Okay? There are no individual souls yet given or supplied. Okay? And remember, as a god, your fragment that was placed into form is what's very much like now an ego. It was the consciousness of the body. Okay? You understand that? Okay? It was the active consciousness of the body. And it knew that it was a god, right? And you knew that you were a god. There was nobody in Egypt, the home of the gods, that didn't know they were a god. Okay? Right? Okay, and the stuff that went on in Egypt, I can tell you, right? Horrifying. Okay? Horrifying. And Allfaaraa was of the most horrifying. Okay? She served the temple of Lucifer, which was Osiris. You had Horus, Isis, and Osiris. Horus was Michael. Osiris was Lucifer. Okay? Right? And she served in the temple of Osiris. Okay? Right? And they had many of them all over. Okay? Evil, evil, evil. I compare it to those of you who've seen the Mummy movie. Not, you know who that character is, Shawn?
No, but
you've seen the Mummy, right?
It's been a few years, yeah.
Siriliel, I know you've seen the Mummy 50 times, right?
Yeah, I love those movies.
I just wouldn't know her by name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about Allfaaraa. No.
Evil witch sorceress with a black hair, very pretty and beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Servant to bring him back, right? Allfaaraa was a lot like that, beautiful and evil. Okay.
Played by Patricia Velasquez, the actress.
Did you Google it?
No, I didn't Google it. I love that movie.
Trust me, we all watch. Those of us of like, all watch the same kind of movies. Okay, all were attached to the same timelines. I know, Clarky. You know, you weren't there that long, but that long ago. Most of us older ones, we all incarnate at the same time. We all are attached to the same time period through history.
Hey, I like Constantine. And I like Joseph in the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
That is very cool. That little story has a lot of truth in it. But remember, the time periods you are drawn to, people, okay, throughout history, are the times where you had some of your greatest incarnations. Okay, that's why you're tied to Egypt, okay, or the King Arthur medieval times, or to the Wild West, or to the 20s, okay, right, or back to the times of Jesus. When you are attached to a certain time period, there's a reason for it, okay? So Pharaoh told them to go get their own straw, okay? So the Bible says they gathered stubble to use for straw. It's a metaphor. It didn't last long, okay? So the straw is the spirit, okay, to build the realm or block. So you're going to build our block without any spirit, so material. How are they going to do that, okay? They have been using Egypt straw or Egypt spirit. Let me ask you this. Where was Israel's spirit? Where was their material? Who wants to answer? Any one of you three. If they were carrying the whole time, working as slaves or workers for Egypt growing Lucifer spirit, where were their spirits? Where was their material?
They weren't carrying both?
Nope. How could they? Grow both, not them. Okay?
So that must have been put in the astral then. Is that when it was created?
We're close. We're close. I didn't think we were going to get to the astral. We will.
Sheep and cows, or kids, children.
Me.
You were right the first time. The sheeps and the cows. Okay? And let me prove it to you. Okay? Again, the cow is sacred in Egypt, sacred in India. It's always a sacred symbol. Okay? The sheeps and the cows. I'll tell you what the Bible says firsthand. Okay. Okay. Everything that was Israel was in the sheep or the cows. The Hebrews were growing. Okay, they aren't refining. Remember, we're still at the growing stage. Growing the Spirit of God through Lucifer. They were growing Egypt's block, right? Making bricks, normally with straw, with spirit. Okay? So let's take a look what the Bible says. Exodus 10:24. And this is almost a joke, okay? It's so funny. Okay, in fact, when I questioned Lucifer about it, okay, tell me about this cow thing. There's too many verses, okay? There's too many verses where God talks about sheep and cows. What the heck does the Creator care about sheep and cows? Okay? I mean, in Egypt, he tells Michael, destroy, okay, all of the firstborn sons and kill the firstborn cows and sheep too. What's this thing about cows and sheep? Right? And even Lucifer was like almost, not amazed, but it's great that you got that. So let me show you what Moses says to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh's no dumb shit. He knows too what's going on. Okay? So let me show you Exodus 10:24. Okay? Here it is. Okay? Pharaoh summoned Moses. Just leave. Go worship the Lord. Even your women and children may go with you. But leave your flocks and herds behind. This is what Pharaoh says. Take the women, take the children, but I want your spirit. Okay? Leave your flocks and herds behind. And Moses says, no. You must allow us to have sacrifices and burnt offerings to present to YHVH our God. Our livestock's got to go also. Not one hoof is to be left behind. Okay? We have to use some of them in worshiping the Lord our God. Until we get there, we're not going to know what we are to use or how we are to worship the Lord. So Pharaoh knew. He says, okay, I'll finally let you go. But you leave the sheep and the cows. You understand? No. No. Right? Hey, they had brought all these plagues on Pharaoh and on Egypt. Okay? Right?
Right.
Even the killing of the firstborn sons. Okay? You would think when Pharaoh finally said, okay, just go, leave, they would take it and go. Wouldn't you think, Ashara?
Yeah.
All that, let's get the hell out of Dodge. He finally said we could go. No. Okay? Leave your sheep and cows. And he said, fine, keep the sheep and cows. What the hell do we need the sheep and cows for? Right? No sheep, no cow. Okay, understand. Israel, the bodies of the Hebrew, became everything collected from Egypt and all in Michael. Okay? The 13 archangels, the 144,000 angels, okay? Everything was lumped together and became God, or YHVH's collective. Okay? Everything in the cows and the sheep. Okay? And again, okay, when they left Egypt, okay, and Michael says, okay, in killing them, he says it 2 or 3 times, in killing the bodies, I gain glory. He gained their spirit, because the spirit comes out when you kill the flesh. Yes, Ashara?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's go towards the Hebrews and the first circumcision. Okay?
Sure.
Right.
Once in a while, just say no for the heck of it, just to mix it up.
That used to be my
I
job.
disagree.
I can explain it. Okay?
That's how I used to get spirit. So.
Then get the deer in the headlights from Shawn. Then I have to go, oh my God. The deer in the headlights is yeah. Oh, right? When he's trying to think, how does this make sense? Okay? Okay. Exodus 13:14. Okay? Okay, so the Hebrews have left. Okay? Let me tell you how he talks to them about circumcision. Again, there's 2 types of circumcision. Correct, Siriliel?
Indeed.
One is the seal, right? And what's the other one?
The other one is separating the ego and the soul.
Well, placing the spirit in the heart center. Okay, we're going to get to that. Why could he not? Why didn't he put it in the mind? Why didn't he make it the mind? Because he couldn't, right? Lucifer's spirit was already there. So he used the next best thing, or the best thing, the heart center. Okay? But anyways, okay, here are we. 13:4. Here it goes. Okay, after the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, which is Canaan, which is Israel, okay, what is now Israel, but it was called Canaan, okay? He promised an oath to you and your forefathers. You are to give over to the Lord the first offspring of every womb, all the firstborn males, not the firstborn females, girls. The female did not carry the spirit. Later it was given a soul when they became storehouses, okay? So the female, again, since we incarnated firstborn to firstborn, male, the line we built up and the genetics were modified only in what, Ashara?
In the men, in the firstborn male body.
Yep. But ladies, don't be upset, because you were all men then anyways. You were all the spirits that incarnated in the males, okay? Do you understand what I'm saying? So don't look at it that way. But was it selective? Yes. They chose the firstborn because it's the closest genetically to the father. Okay, the Bible calls the firstborn as the first sign of the father's strength. Okay? So we modified the genetics of the males, not of the females. Okay? But we would start doing that. Okay? So what he says, okay, give over to the Lord the first offsprings of every womb. Okay? All the firstborn males of your livestock belong to the Lord. Okay? Right?
Right.
Every firstborn male of every womb is sacrificed to the Lord. Okay, remember, when they sacrifice the firstborn sheep or cows, what happened to the spirit?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it comes out. Goes back to the source.
Okay? These were the storehouses. But everybody knew about it. Okay? All the other nations knew it. Okay? Because that's where they kept theirs too. Okay? So they wanted the wives, the children's, and they wanted the sheep and cows. Okay? So, but he says, redeem every firstborn among your sons. Okay? And you actually had to buy it and pay for it. Okay? It was called the atonement money, where you paid for your firstborn son. You redeemed him. You bought it back. Okay? Let's go forward. Okay. So as the Hebrews are coming out, okay, this is the first time, okay, that many of them were circumcised, okay? Okay, they were circumcised in the flesh and circumcised in the spirit, okay, from Mount Sinai, okay? Now, we have 40 years of them wandering the desert, right? Okay? They didn't go straight into the land of Canaan, okay? They wandered the desert. And for these 40 years, okay, right, they were fed manna from heaven. And manna is light or spirit, okay? The bodies of the Hebrews, again, even though they're the best bodies genetically created and carried the spirit of Lucifer, they had never, ever, ever carried anything like the frequency and the vibration of the spirit directly from YHVH, okay? They had never carried anything like this, okay? It's going to be a smaller but much more powerful fragment, okay? So when we read you this Exodus 22:30. This is what and how circumcision worked, okay? Okay, again, he tells them, you must give me, is YHVH, you must give me the firstborn of your sons. Do the same with your cattle and your sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, but give them or bring them to me on the 8th day. You are to be my holy people. Okay? So on the 8th day, what we did is we took our firstborn son to the temple. Okay? Right? Cut the foreskin, and he placed the soul, circumcision, in the heart center. Okay? Only the firstborn males. Okay? At this time. Okay? Because they're the only ones genetically that could accommodate the spirit of that frequency. Does that understand and make sense to you, Ashara?
Yes.
Yeah, we've been modifying the whole time. It's been for 4 billion years. Firstborn to firstborn. From Abraham, it's been firstborn to firstborn to firstborn. The Spirit, okay, incarnated firstborn to firstborn. There were no souls yet, okay? And the thing about the souls, the material that we're using, yes, it was a much higher grade, much higher frequency, had been refined, okay? A smaller amount could be put in, which means it could go farther. So now, this is why, I mean, God all-knowing said, not only going to need the Spirit, but I'm going to need the bodies, right? Right? I'm going to need the bodies that can take that level of Spirit. Okay, this is why YHVH's Spirit, okay, was not given to anybody else. Why it was only the God of Israel. Nobody else was created to bear or carry his Spirit, okay? The line from Abraham was genetically modified. The 430 years, an entire cycle, 1-9, in Egypt, okay? The bodies were genetically engineered to carry the level of Spirit and the level of light unequaled, okay, as would have ever been on form anywhere, okay? So,
is there a reason for it being the 8th day that they circumcised or incarnated?
You know what? There must be, but I never asked it, and they never told me, okay? Right? I always thought, you know, I start thinking, well, why the 8th day, okay, right? Why not the 7th? Why not the... Okay, I will ask that question next time we meet in person. Shawn says, why the 8th day?
Actually, it's Alachio. Or, yeah. You'll see it. You'll see it.
Oh, Alachio, Ser la Luz?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you know, sweetie, I'm glad I'll ask in your name. That way I probably won't get slapped. When I say Clarky asks, right? Alachio asks. You know what? I never asked, okay, why the 8th day? But there's got to be some significance to that, okay? Okay, remember, okay, circumcision is incarnation, placing of the Spirit. Actually, it's a soul, this time in the heart center, okay? Now, they were supplied manna for the 40 years they wandered in the desert, okay? This is the first generation of those circumcised, okay? Right? But you have to understand the land he was bringing them to was holy. The land was spiritual. The land and the Spirit are one and the same, okay? Kind of like in Excalibur. Of course you've seen it, Ashara. Of course you've seen it, Siriliel, right? Excalibur?
I love that movie.
Yes, me too.
Did you see it, Shawn? Oh, no. Come on, Shawn.
Caliber, Arthur.
Shawn.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Of course did you see Excalibur?
Yes, oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, how many times?
Probably just once or twice.
That figures. Okay, well, you were probably around about that time, okay? Right? But all us oldies have seen it hundreds of times. I have, Siriliel has, Andre has. Those of you in the chat, some of you probably love it to death and seen it over and over. So like he says, the land is the king when they're searching for the Holy Grail. The land is the king is the land. Right?
Right.
Yes.
Same thing. The land is holy. So let me show you what happens, okay? After 40 years in the desert, they were fed the manna, which is the light of God, the presence, okay, to allow the Spirit, okay, and in this case it was the soul, to stay in the body. See, this was the hardest thing to do. The longer the Spirit could stay in a flesh body, the more growth and the more was received back from it. You understand that, right, Ashara?
Yes.
Back in the days, I told you, 5 minutes, 2 minutes was something. An hour was incredible. In Egypt, okay, right, this was the home of the body snatchers, as I had explained. Okay, you had to go to sleep at one time or another, okay? And when you went to sleep, okay, the spirit or soul did not stay actually in the body, okay? It was very easy to take out, let's put it that way, okay? You actually left your body and walked around, okay? No, it didn't return to the source. The source was Egypt, okay? In your hometown, you were safe, so to speak. But when you left your body at night, it was available to people like Siriliel, okay, folks in that time period, Andrea, Anaxunaten, especially me, to come and take your body. We were always looking for a body better than ours. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay? You were always looking for a body that you could stay in or fragment into. Some of us were so good. I was particularly good. Siriliel was very good. You know, Ashara was a mistress of death. I mean, she could put 10 pieces into 10 bodies so stinking quick, okay, right? You wouldn't even know. It's almost like you wouldn't even know what happened, okay, right? So the big thing in Egypt was never, 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 you were taught by Samael, never leave your body. And don't get caught out of your body, okay, right? Some competing god, take your shit, okay? Okay, so they were fed manna, okay? Now the second circumcision came, okay, right before they entered the land of Canaan, okay? And let me read it to you and tell you what happened. It's Joshua 5:3, okay? Bum, 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 bum. And this is where everything kind of changed. Joshua 5:3. Okay, watch this. And I'll just read it straight from there. It's pretty self-explanatory as it's literal. Circumcision at Gilgal. Gilgal means wheel or turning in Hebrew. Okay. At that time, YHVH said to Joshua, make flint knives and circumcise the Israelites again. Okay. So Joshua made flint knives and circumcised the Israelites at Gibeath Ha'araloth. Now this is why he did so. All those who came out of Egypt, all the men of military age, and they use military age as kind of like a metaphor. As I've taught you and told you, the soul really begins, okay, to start incurring darkness and light, okay, at about what age, Ashara, if you've been ever paying attention to everything I've said?
I think you said about 15, 16, around there.
Yeah, let's say 18. Okay, military age, okay, same thing, 50, yes it does, 15 to 18. It's different in everybody, but military age is the age, okay, where the soul begins to produce, okay? So here's what it says. All those who came out of Egypt and all the men of military age died in the desert on the way after leaving Egypt. All the people that came out had been circumcised, but all the people born in the desert during the journey had not, okay? So he raised up their sons in their place, and these were all the ones Joshua circumcised. They were still uncircumcised because they had not been circumcised on the way. After that, the whole nation had been circumcised. Okay? And here's what it says. This was the second generation. You understand that. Okay, the first generation wandered the desert for 40 years. This is everybody else and all the children born. And then it says, the manna stopped the day after. Okay, they entered the land and ate some of the food of the land. There was no longer any manna for the Israelites. Okay? That year they ate the produce of Canaan. They didn't need it. So we now have the second generation. Okay? And it's better than the first, and the manna stopped. Okay? At this point, they entered the land of Canaan, and the refinement process began. Okay? Okay? And this is where I'll explain you some of the suffering and some of the things that us older ones went through. Okay? Right? There's the law, which is the spirit and the flesh of Lucifer, and there's the laws. And in Hebrew, they're called mitzvot. And by the way, I'm not some religious Jew or Christian or anything else. Okay? I never read the Bible. I didn't know all this stuff until I was taught it by God. Okay? Right? I didn't know any of this stuff growing up as a kid. Even though my father made me go to temple. Okay? I was born Irish Catholic, adopted, raised Jewish. I didn't know any of this stuff. I had no idea. Okay? Okay, but there were 625, some Hebrew professor will probably jump on me, or 626 mitzvot. Okay? Okay. And now we had circumcision in the heart center. Okay? And why did he use the heart center, Shawn?
Because it was available.
Yeah, that's pretty good. But the spirit of Lucifer was the conscious body. Okay? So you're actually going to carry two spirits in the beginning. Okay? It wasn't yet an ego, but it was the active consciousness of the body. So technically, they're double-minded and unveiled. Okay? Now, these 626 laws, to violate them was death. Do you understand that? To violate the laws was death. Okay? Yet you were given these laws. Okay? But almost for every penalty was death or being outcast from Israel. And to be outcast from Israel means he took your what, Siriliel?
Your wealth? Your spiritual?
Yeah. He took your spirit. He took it. Okay? So the laws were possible to live by. Okay? Right? And the greater, everything was a trespass. And the more trespasses, the greater the refinement of the body. Would you agree, Ashara?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Let me read this one part because we're not going to make it. Maybe we'll finish in the archive, but I think we can finish in the archive about another half hour. Those of you, if you call on the phone, you can still listen, I guess. But let me get this one part out, okay? Okay. Let me get these two parts out. Check this out. So we have the laws, right? Let me tell you what God admits to. That's why I say the Bible's incredible, if you can understand it. Let me tell you, he gave them the law, and they all had to obey the law. But let me tell you what YHVH says about the law. Okay? Right? And again, almost every violation was death. But wanted to kill the bodies. Okay? So let me tell you what he says about the law. Hezekiah. And you're not going to believe this. I didn't believe it when I wrote it. You know, he tells you how great his law is, right? Oh, my law, and I love you, and all this stuff. Well, let me tell you what he says about the law, right? When I found this 5 years ago, when he took me right to it, I almost died, okay? What does he say? Okay? You ready for this? Okay?
Ready.
Ready.
Break.
I gave them over to statutes, laws that were not good, and laws they could not live by. I let them become defiled through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn, that I might fill them with horror so they would know that I am the Lord. This is Michael talking. I gave them over to statutes that were not good, and laws they could not live by. I let them become defiled through their gifts, the sacrifice of every firstborn, that I have filled them with horror so that we know I am the Lord. Does that suck or not suck?
That sucks. That was the God of will.
It is close for bad.
He admits he gave them laws that they couldn't live by, okay, that they would become defiled from. But more than that, it was death, death, death. Real quick before we close, Ezekiel 16:20, okay, right? Remember, Israel was unveiled, okay, right? Israel was unveiled, okay? And listen, he's pissed at them. Okay, we knew what was happening. We knew we were getting screwed. We knew we were getting the shaft. Okay, every time we died, our material would go back into the astral, and the astral began right about here. Okay? Okay? Here's what he says. YHVH to us, the Hebrews. You took your sons and daughters, whom you bore to me, and sacrificed them as food to the idols. The idols are all the other gods. Your prostitution not enough? You slaughtered my children and sacrificed them to the idols. Okay? In all your detestable practices and your prostitution, you did not remember the days of your youth when you were naked and bare, kicking about in your blood. Okay? We sold our children to other gods in exchange for our own spirits because we're carrying the collective of Israel. Does everybody understand that? He gave them laws they couldn't live by. Okay? We're going to go into overtime. We'll talk about it for the first few minutes. Okay? So either I can finish it then or make it a next week's show. I've still got all the good stuff coming up, like the astral and everything else. Okay? So I want to thank you for listening. Okay? I really want your questions if you don't understand because I want to answer them. Okay? Right? But there's so much to cover. Again, I had 30 pages. I cut it as quick and as short as I could. But we're coming to the real good part about the meat, about death, about the Hebrews, about everything they went through of who the world is not worthy. Okay? Love you all. I think we'll continue in the archive.
Okay.
Let's go.
Or off?
Yes.
I'm sure we're in archive, yeah.
See, now this is where we're at the really good part, okay? Where we really start talking more of the spiritual and we talk about the astral is now being built and how it's formed and why it is. It's about 6 pages that could be an hour if I really do it right. What do you think? You want to stretch to next week's show? Or, I mean, this is the meat and fun part of the whole thing.
Yeah,
okay.
I think that should start it should be its own subject.
Okay.
The new show.
Yeah, new show, sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
What about you, Siriliel? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I just came here, so I'm ready for another hour. Don't worry. But yeah, maybe it could be another show, another workout.
Are you
another
saying you can't hear, or you just came here?
I just, I have an hour left if you want, but it's okay because here we didn't change hour, so it's only 3 in the morning.
Yeah, he didn't realize that.
Your French. It's hard for me to understand your French. Okay, maybe you should speak in English so I can understand. I got you now. Okay.
You guys change your hour, yeah.
Okay, so in other words, it's 3 o'clock in the morning your time.
Yes.
No, I'd like to make it another show rather than going to the archive. Okay.
Yeah. It would be better.
Unless you can wrap it up in like 10 or 15 or you know what I mean.
No, this is all the good parts that everybody's been waiting to hear and get through all the Bible stuff. I mean, this is the good part. This
it'd be
Israel.
good to start with good parts, on another show.
Okay. Yeah, let's leave it for the next show so I can do it right and end it. And then there was going to be another part anyways, because now I'm taking the Spirit only up to Christ, but I want to take it from there, okay, and show what happens. But, dude, even reading the stuff, I have to tie it to the Bible because the Bible has a timeline. And if I leave one thing out of order, okay, it screws up the next thing, okay? I mean, you had to have Abraham. You had to have Egypt, okay? You have to have circumcision. You have to have the sheep and the cows and all that, okay? Right? But it all gets into the need for the astral. And the need for the astral, see what happens every time the king of Assyria, the king of Babylon, every time they came to Israel, okay, to Jerusalem, right? They said, give us the wives, the children, all the silver and gold. It's the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? Israel was consistently looted and plundered until Michael and Gabriel got pissed off, okay? But the need for the astral, it's the same thing as taking everything up into the celestial where it was controlled by the Creator. So you got to understand the souls were earthly creations. These weren't created in heaven, right? They were fragmented from everything that is all the earthbound spirit. You understand that, everybody? Do you understand that, Ashara?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So there had to be we had to keep them in animals or something, okay? So with Israel, the children are going to become the storehouses, okay? Let's start refining the second-born and the third-born. You remember, and this is something we get into, that Israel, the Hebrews, created all the spiritual wealth for all of humanity from that time forward, okay? Israel will bud, this is from Isaiah, Israel will bud and blossom and fill all the world with fruit. Remember, one line, God's line, okay? Judah, once again, will take root below and bear fruit above. How do you say that in another way, Siriliel? Yours and my favorite thing, right? I will create myself. How does it go?
I create myself above through the flesh below.
Israel, once more, will take root below and bear fruit above. Is that not saying the same thing?
Yes, it's the same thing.
I will. Oh, you sound tired, dude. You've been smoking some ganja.
What I mean?
Or smoking some ganja, dude.
Me? No, I don't smoke anything. Never tried to smoke.
He's very calm and peaceful tonight.
I don't believe that at all.
Siriliel is in the house. I left Coco in the closet.
You sound like you're ready to pass out. You're so tired.
No, not tired. I'm just okay. I'm just relaxed.
You're not tired. You've been smoking ganja, right? Or drinking. You drink some good French wine, right?
No, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I just,
Yeah, now if you didn't have sex, then you would be perfect, right?
Yes.
Yeah. See, no drink, no smoke.
No drink, no smoke. I don't go there anymore. I'm a priest
drink
now.
and smoke, but I have no sex, except with myself. Right? Except with myself once in a while, right? I can't do it. That's
we are still in the archive, people.
G-rated. G-rated.
I admitted having sex with myself once in a while. I am celibate. I have to be that. Remember, sex is the most powerful one, as Coco well knows, that the Creator holds over your head. That's why you move.
Coco well knows.
Why you move to a cave and you cut off your balls. This way, in the cave, you are not around any other people, so he cannot use you in a relationship. And the only thing left is sex. So if you cut off your nuts, okay, then, oh, dude, check this out. Do you guys all remember, I forgot the name of them. I saw this thing on Cults the other day. Do you all remember the ones in San Diego, California in like 2000 that all committed suicide in the big house when the comet came over?
Yeah.
Do you remember that one, Ashara? Do you remember, Shawn? Did you ever hear about that? Okay. Yeah, they were all ETs, and they thought that when the comet came over, they were going to kill themselves, okay, and their spirit would come out and get taken up into the spaceship. Do you ever hear that one? It was a big thing in the United States, Siriliel. Did you hear it?
I don't have a clue what you're talking about.
Okay. There was a group of people. They had a teacher, kind of like Allfaaraa, right? And he got them all to kill themselves. I won't do that to you guys, I promise.
That was Heaven's Gate? Is that what they were
Heaven's
called?
Gate.
That's it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heaven's Gate.
That's it.
Yeah, so they were in this big mansion. There were 39 people, okay, right? And they believed they were ETs, okay, right? And when the comet came over, in the tail of the comet was the hidden spaceship, okay? So to return, they had to kill their human form, okay, right? And right as the comet came over. Well, I watched a thing on all cults, and boy, it got really big into Elizabeth Clare Prophet, too. You know, Nova was heavily into that. Remember, Shawn?
Oh, yeah.
She talked about being a CUT member. I never knew how bad it got with Clare Prophet. It got really weird, and we'll talk about that later. But let me just finish with this. So when the comet came over, these people all, okay, drank the Kool-Aid again. Actually, they ate applesauce mixed with cyanide, okay? So they all died. Well, I didn't know this part, but one of the things they were teaching is how, you know, the Creator uses, which he does, sex as one of the strongest tools against you, okay, to get you to trespass and karma and sin, okay? And Siriliel knows well about how he uses him for that, or Coco does, I'm sorry. So
I need to feed him somehow.
Yeah. Okay. So the police were saying they found that many of the males had castrated themselves, taken their balls out. I never knew that part till I saw it last week. They had castrated themselves because they knew that that was the one thing, no matter what, even giving up the earthly body. Oh, that don't make sense. If they gave up they castrated the body, the spirit, they didn't castrate the spirit. But they had castrated themselves, okay? And I mean, whoa, that's a wow, okay? Right? Knowing that that was the one power, the earthly power that Lucifer, Satan, that would still have over them, sex, right? But they found these guys self-castrated. I guess the guy was describing it like with butcher knives or something, just a big rip and little marbles came out.
A spoon and a rusty butter knife.
So that was amazing. Well, anyways, I know Kendall's tired. What do you think of the show, Ashara? What do you think of the translations? Were those pretty awesome or what?
Yes. Holy cow. I actually wrote notes. I have like...
People in the chat said they were going to have to listen 144,000 times to get it all.
6 pages of notes.
Yeah, I know, dude. I know. But the translation was enormous. I cannot believe, and I had actually marked it, don't eat of us. And that they put don't eat of the tree.
Don't eat their own. Don't eat.
How do you twist that? Okay? It says 3 times, don't eat of us. One time, they put don't eat of the tree. Other time, don't eat thereof. And the other one, don't eat of it. Okay? I mean, do you think they just didn't understand? I mean, or what? What do you think, Shawn?
Who knows? Yeah, I see. I mean, maybe, well, sometimes they mix things in, though, to show you, just like in the other one where they said sun and moon in one sentence, and then they said father and mother in the next to show you that that's what they are. Yeah, but see, there it explains it. It explains it out. But you would think they must have realized the metaphors at that point, right? You think or hope. Oh, yeah, but again... I mean, maybe they didn't realize things were... Well, no, things were... They had to understand metaphors back then. Another thing, yeah, again, basically, supposedly, Genesis were written by Moses. That's what it says, okay? That's what scholars think, okay? Or through Moses.
And, you know, I mean, they didn't want to change Moses' words, but they changed it. Instead of just putting what it is, I'm sure it didn't make sense. Don't eat of us? What? The tree can't be in us. It's a tree, right? Okay. But they actually changed it. I'm going to have to start going through the Old Testament, because they were so big on not changing nothing, okay? Where the Christian translators did whatever they wanted, okay? But, yeah, they put in one time the tree, one time they put of it, one time they put thereof. But then, like I say, 5 verses later, they use the translation as correct, from us or of us, okay? Proving they knew what the word meant, you know what I'm saying, mimenu. They knew what it meant. But it's just amazing. It changes everything. Don't eat of us. Don't partake of us. Siriliel, you are tired and you need to go. I thank you. I missed your singing in the beginning of the show.
Next time I will sing a song for you.
Yeah,
Just for you.
So how's things going with your female students?
Wait, do we want to end the show before you start off on your...
Oh, yeah, wait, I forgot. We're still in the archive. Hang it up. That was
Everything is perfect. As long as